Nature. I think nature is a powerful teacher. You know, I'm an English teacher, and myths and fables and parables often had animals that were used as object lessons on how to live life. And I believe, and science and biology supports me, that human beings are part of nature. We are made of the same elements that can be found in the soil. We are subject to the same needs as other parts of the animal kingdom, and we have to exist on this planet. We have to live on this planet. So we need water and sun and, plants that grow from the earth and protein and all these things, right? But when it comes to the way that societies and civilizations have evolved over time, when I look back at ancient civilizations and, for a period of time of about 5 years, I've been studying, ancient African civilizations and Kemet, and how a lot of their practices were based on nature, meaning they observed different periods of time, the solstices and, the seasons, the cycles, and they lived their lives in flow, in balance, in harmony with nature. And if you look at a lot of the Native American tribes, they did the same thing. But as we moved into civilized societies, or what we call civilized societies, we kind of moved away from that. And I think that that's somewhat problematic, because if you look at nature, you see that nothing lasts forever. The earth has been here, but plants grow and die. There's seasons. Summer doesn't last forever. Neither does spring, neither does winter, neither does fall. So when we try to have, let's say, marriage, and we make these vows till death do us part, some people can accomplish that. And other people are going to have a relationship that's much more seasonal. It's going to have its winter, spring, summer, and falls. And there may be a point when everything that was living in that relationship is dead. And to me, that's natural. When you look at the animal kingdom, there are animals that mate for life. There are animals that mate in certain seasons, depending on when the female's in heat and the male has to prove himself and go through all of this drama and show and display to get the female's attention and for him to be chosen by her. And then there's some parts of the animal kingdom where the female of the species raises the cubs, the young. Some where the male raises the cubs or the young, and somewhere a group of animals raises the cubs or the young. When we look at nature, it's like, how is it that animals have the instinct to follow what fits them, what is appropriate for them? But human beings many times want to force everyone to follow the same pattern. If you look at plants, there are some plants that grow in shady seasons, and you plant them in certain times of year, and other plants need direct sunlight. And some plants are indoor, some plants are outdoor. People are the same way. We don't all need the same things. We don't all crave the same things. We don't all have the same values. We don't all thrive in the same environment. And it just boggles my mind how there seems to be so many people who want to dictate what everybody needs to do, when nothing in nature is that way. Plants are not that way. Animals are not that way. The seasons are not that way. You have to deal with change. And the I think that a lot of people who want to dictate to others, they have a fear of change. They have a fear of uncertainty, but uncertainty is a part of nature. We don't know from one day to the next what the weather is going to be like with absolute certainty. We can make some predictions. We don't know if there's a storm coming, how long it's going to take to pass, how much rain it's going to drop, how, intense the winds are going to be. We can make a prediction, but we don't know. And I think that people who are trying to avoid the uncertainty of life and control everything out of fear, out of a sense of a power trip or whatever, it's just very unproductive, and it's a waste of energy, and it leads to them trying to take control of so many things that should be left alone. We don't all need to do things the same way, and it doesn't need to be legislated how we live our lives. We're in 2024 and people are still trying to ban books and burn books because they don't want people exposed to certain ideas. They're trying to overturn no-fault marriage because they want to force people to stay together. They're trying to make it to where access to birth control is much more difficult because they're trying to force more pregnancies. But the thing is, you're not going to do it. People are going to find a way around it, whether it's men having vasectomies and women having, their tubes tied so that they don't have to worry about kids at all. Whether it's people deciding not to get married so they don't have to worry about divorce at all. There's choice still, no matter how many laws you try to create, no matter how many restrictions on people's freedom you try to create. I think it was Viktor Frankl who wrote A Man's Search for Meaning, and he was in a concentration camp, and he still basically said, even though my body is locked up, my mind, my spirit, and soul are always free. So the idea that you're going to be able to control people and make them act the way you want them to act and make them make the choices that you want them to make, to me is ridiculous. And we just need to understand that we live in a natural world and we are natural beings. And that means there's variety. There's abundant plants and there's abundant humans. And we should embrace that.